Hey all! Amanda here with your recap of Episode 7 of American Ninja Warrior Season 12, the first of the two-part finale. As I had mentioned in previous videos, I was unaware of how the finals would unfold, but as predicted, there were a ton of surprises along the way. There were also a few things that occurred throughout the show that struck me as odd, and like I always say, I have no insider information on this show. These are just basically my opinions and thoughts on the show, with predictions thrown in for fun. I understand that it's been a very difficult season for all involved, but some things still seem like major oversights to me, and I will try to touch on them all here. Let me preface by saying that in my personal opinion, it seemed that while the show edited out a ton of footage, they did not pay close enough attention to the gaps they now left open and failed to have Matt and Akbar overdub the reasoning for these changes. I also think there had to be some overdubs, which makes it even stranger to miss acknowledging these other discrepancies. Unfortunately, until I hear the real reasons behind such occurrences, I am forced to guess as to what may have been going on behind the scenes. That being said, first off, the show began by saying that we started off with 150 ninjas 6 weeks ago, and that we were now down to the final 28. There were actually only 27 athletes remaining. I have to assume that the 28th would have been Drew, but considering how hard they've been trying to erase him from the show, I'm really confused as to why a massive 28 was flashed across the screen as the announcers suggested the same thing. Regardless, I also assumed all 27 would run night 1 of the finals, but could not figure out how 7 runs of the Power Tower would fill 2 hours for Episode 8. I figured there would just be even more personal interest backstories for the final 8. In the end, only 16 of the 27 athletes ran in Episode 7, with the remaining 11 to run Episode 8, followed by the Power Tower showdowns. Of the 27 competitors that will run, only the top 8 will advance to the bracketed head-to-head contest, until the last ninja standing wins $100,000. But first, all 27 ninjas must get through this 10-obstacle course. Again, we start with the shrinking steps, where athletes run up 5 steps that decrease in size, which are angled on an incline. The steps lead to a rope that they must jump out to reach to swing to the landing platform. No one went out here. Spring Forward returns from the second night of semifinals, which consisted of 4 bars this time, each connected to a spring at either end. The first and third bars were attached at the left side, the second and fourth bars bent from the right side. This caused the bars to bounce when the competitors grabbed onto them. Competitors must make the transition from one bar to another, then make the dismount to the landing platform. One athlete stunningly ended their season here. Then, in the first of 2 new obstacles for the finals, we have the falling shelves. This event consisted of 3 pieces of metal made into the shape of an X, suspended horizontally, with small handles at the nearest edge to the competitors. Ninjas had to jump to the first X, grabbing the handles, which caused the structure to flip down vertically. Ninjas then had to gain momentum to jump to the second X, grabbing those handles, then do a blind grab to the third set of handles on the last X before swinging to the landing platform. 4 ninjas could not hold on here. Back as the 4th obstacle, for the 3rd year in a row, we have the Diamond Dash. This balance obstacle consisted of 4 free-floating diamond-shaped discs that competitors must run across while maintaining their balance. The second and fourth discs were placed lower than the other 2 discs, and not landing on the center of the disc would cause it to flip forward or backwards. The Diamond Dash tripped up many, ending the night of 2. Next, returning as the 5th obstacle for the 3rd year in a row, we have the ever-tricky Spin Hopper. This event consisted of a series of rounded handles divided into 3 sections. The first section was angled upward with 5 handles, the second section was straight with 1 long handle, and the third section was angled downward also with 5 handles. Some of the handles on both the ascent and descent moved from side to side, so ninjas had to scale up the handles by jumping and grabbing each handle with both hands simultaneously to keep them even. 1 ninja slipped up here. Then, everyone who got to the 14.5-foot concave warped wall cleared it. And no one had any issues getting up the salmon ladder, which again, looks like a ladder without the steps and has a bar resting on 2 rungs at either side. Competitors must use their momentum and upper body strength to climb up the ladder by jumping the bar up the rungs till they reach the top. Slam Dunk returns from last year, where there are 3 sets of pairs of hoops. The first hoops of each pair have a ball resting inside of it, with 2 handles on either side. Ninjas must grab the handles and build momentum to jump the ball to the hoop across from it. Then, they must jump to grab the second ball by its handles and repeat the task, and again the 3rd time, with each hoop getting subsequently lower before swinging to the landing platform. 1 ninja went out here, but as of the end of the show, are currently on the leaderboard. Then, in our second new event for the night, we have the Dragon Back. The main track is serpentine shape, and athletes must jump a bar, first up 4 steps, landing at the top, until they slide down the track to try to gently land on bungee cord. Then, they must jump up the second half of the track, this time jumping up 5 steps to the top, then jump and slide down the back part of the track to yet another bungee cord, before dismounting by clearing a rotating wall to the landing below. 3 athletes had their nights ended here, but at the moment, currently sit on the leaderboard. And if ninjas had anything left, we end again with the 35-foot spider trap. Athletes ascend a long chute by pressing their hands and feet against the side walls, thrusting themselves up. The spider trap also had 3 sets of trapdoors at the 10, 22.5, and 35-foot marks, each weighing 100 pounds. Both 50-pound doors must be opened completely before a ninja can advance through to reach the buzzer. The 4 competitors that reach this point all hit buzzers. So far, 4 of the 16 ninjas we saw run tonight hit buzzers, and we still have 11 to go next week. I did not realize the competitors would be split into 2 nights until we were about to go to maybe the 3rd commercial break when the show gave a sneak peek of next week's episode. When I saw the names being held over till episode 8, I felt like they really put a damper on the rest of episode 7. I'll discuss more on that later, but for now, here are the results for those who ran on night 1 of the finals as they appeared on the show. And bonus, all runs but 1 were seen in full. We started the night off with cat lover Jackson Twait. He made it up the shrinking steps and jumped 2 bars per swing on spring forward, and although he made the first 2 grabs on the brand new falling shelves, he was unable to hold on after the blind grab and hit the water. Next was a surprise when the big dog Jody Avila stepped onto the course. Never a good sign seeing a big name so early. He flew through spring forward and mastered the falling shelves, but after a misstep on the 3rd diamond dash tripped him up. An injury to his leg occurred, resulting in a limp for the rest of his run. He fought his way to the back half of the course, but missed the handles on the second ball on slam dunk and hit the water. At the moment, he sits in 8th spot on the leaderboard, but look for that to change episode 8. Next was my favorite, Flip Rodriguez, but his run made me sad twice. First, when they showed him crying during qualifying, as his run marked the 1-year anniversary of Maui's passing, and the second time came at the end of his run due to a spoiler that I had heard earlier. Flip ran a solid controlled run throughout the entire course, showing patience on spring forward, and again on the spin hopper, where he waited for a handle to steady. His experience got him far fast, but when he got to the Dragon Back, I realized he would not advance. Luckily, his time got him to the 7th spot on the leaderboard, but unfortunately, I do not think he will remain there. Jerry Dorillo was up next, and still no mention to the fact that she was replacing Rachel Goldstein due to an injury. Jerry had a low landing after swinging from the rope on shrinking steps, and laughed her way through spring forward. She was unable to hold on to the second drop on falling shelves, ending her night. I got nervous when I saw Michael Torres come out next, but was not prepared for what was about to happen. Michael sailed through the first 2 obstacles, then almost missed the second set of handles on the falling shelves, making everyone nervous. Then, when he started across the diamond dash, he landed too far back on the 3rd diamond, causing it to flip backwards and wipe Michael out. We heard him say ouch when he hit the water, and he may have injured his left hand when he crashed against the landing pad, hands out in front of him. It was at this point I saw the teaser for next week's episode, where they flashed the remaining 11 athletes on the screen. Based on the names alone, I have a pretty good feeling I already know how episode 8 may play out, but with this season, who knows? The only thing I am sure of is that anything can and will happen on American Ninja Warrior, so don't miss a second of the action. More on this later. Next up was the surprising Cameron Baumgartner. I vaguely remember his name from last year, but this run is going to be unforgettable. Cam ran slow and steady through the first half of the course, making no mistakes and looking strong through the back half. Then, in a freak occurrence, Cam did solve the Dragon Back, but at the end of the track, ninjas must jump over a rotating wall, landing on the ground several feet below. Rather than have his legs up in front of him, they were bent behind him, and the tips of his feet hooked the wall. Cam did not let go of the bar, I think because that would have sent him headfirst into the floor below, but by holding onto the bar, it ended up snapping back, hitting him in the face and busting him open, and the wall flipped back and pushed him out over the water, turning the red light on, indicating failure. It was a stunning heartbreak, and nothing anyone could have anticipated. At the moment, Cam holds 6th place on the leaderboard, but in my opinion, will not be one of the final 8. Najee Richardson was up next, and this was the run I had seen in advance in order to get the sneak peeks of the new obstacles. I did not see the run in full, so I did not know 100% that he advanced, but I had a feeling. In my opinion, this was one of the best runs of the night. Najee flew through spring forward and scared us all where he barely hung on by one hand to the last X on falling shelves. He tripped up on the third diamond of Diamond Dash and had a hard landing but kept going. He skipped a handle on the descent of Spin Hopper and jumped 2 steps on the ascent up the first half of Dragonback and literally shot up the spider trap, hitting a buzzer at a time of 4:36.66. I could not believe how fast he was moving and how much energy he still seemed to have. He was pushing the 50-pound doors up with such force they were falling back down on him. Check out this run if you can. Najee currently sits in second place on the leaderboard, and I think he has a very good chance at remaining in the final 8. Jamie Rahn was joined in progress, and I'm not sure why. He was halfway through the spin hopper and was looking good as he bounced up the salmon ladder. His bar got ahead of him as he tried to land on the top of the first half of Dragonback, causing him to hit the water. He is currently in 5th position on the leaderboard, but I do not think that will be enough to keep him in the final 8. It's not impossible, and these are just my opinions. We'll just have to wait and see. Dan Palizzi was up next and was looking quite strong through the first few obstacles, but whether the Towers of Powers are really cursed with balance obstacles, or if the idea of it just got in his head, but after some hesitation before tackling the Diamond Dash, like so many seasons before, Dan got tripped up on the third diamond and landed in the water. No matter who the ninja, balance obstacles always make me the most nervous for just this reason. One wrong step and it's all over. Lucas Reale returned for his 3rd year and was chasing after his 3rd buzzer this season. He was excited for the Diamond Dash and flew across them easily. When he got to the top of the warped wall, he told Matt Nockbar how sick the back half was, having the time of his life. He smiled the whole course and completed Dragonback flawlessly before shooting up the spider trap, getting that 3rd buzzer with a time of 4:33.36. He sits at the top of the leaderboard in 1st place, and I would be stunned if he did not remain in the final 8. I cannot wait to see what he'll do in the Power Tower and who he'll face up against. Sandy Zinnerman ran next, and although she was smiling through spring forward, she was unable to hang on to the blind transfer on the falling shelves, ending her night. Donovan Matoyer was up next, but first, some corrections. This whole season, I've been calling him a rookie. I must have misheard something, because that was the impression I was under, until a kind viewer pointed out that Donovan was in fact closer to a veteran. I do not remember him from previous seasons, and considering how impressed I've been with him this year, I looked into it a little. Seems Donovan participated in seasons 5, 6, and 7 of American Ninja Warrior, but did not advance the qualifying rounds those years. He skipped season 8, but returned season 9, where he advanced in qualifying, but his run was cut, and then his semifinals run was also cut, where he did not advance. Donovan was not invited to return back seasons 10 or 11, although he did try to get in as a walk-on both years, but was passed on each time. Thankfully, Captain NBC, Jamie Rahn, invited him to take part in this special season, and I sincerely hope Donovan keeps coming back from now on. He is a joy to watch. Thank you to Makeru the Blue Tiger for letting me know. As for Donovan's run, he seemed to be quite aggressive on his bounces between bars on spring forward and made it as far as the spin hopper, but in an effort to save time, he tried to jump straight from the 3rd to the 4th handle, which caused his hand placement to be off, flipping the handle and spinning him off the course. Austin Gray was back with a vengeance after missing out on last season, where he did not qualify. Austin was running for speed as he skipped the last diamond on Diamond Dash. He flew up the ascent on Spin Hopper, and although he had a slight uneven landing, hopping up the steps on the first half of Dragonback, he made a quick correction and methodically made it to the end. He barely looked tired as he flew up the spider trap, hitting a buzzer at a time of 4:40.29. Austin currently sits in 3rd place on the leaderboards and has a pretty good shot at staying in the top 8, but as we all know, anything can happen. And speaking of, Tyler Gillette ran next, and his run may have been the biggest shocker of the night. Tyler was really swinging hard on spring forward, pulling the bars down hard, and when he went to make the last jump, his right hand completely missed the bar, and he could not recover quickly enough and hit the water. Everyone was stunned into silence. I wish there was more I could say about this run. I'm sure he'll be back next year, stronger than ever. Next was one half of the Lovebirds, Chris DeGangi, engaged to fellow ninja Jesse Lebrecht, and he ran first. Chris was looking good on the first 2 obstacles, but unfortunately could not hang on to the blind grab on the last falling shelf, ending his season. Jesse Lebrecht had been standing on the sidelines and had to block that from her mind, as she was the last to run this episode. All ninjas who ran tonight all had several fellow ninjas on the sideline, and about 70% of them had super supporter Ethan Swanson on screen. The hosts even commented on how many different shirts Ethan had, as he would wear each ninja shirt during their respective runs. Which leads me to ask, if the hosts were able to comment on Swanson's shirt changes, where he was at home on screen, why couldn't they have told us why we were seeing him on screen? And in one of the biggest troll moves of the season, guess who was standing on the sidelines cheering LeBrecq on? Our missing in action ninja, John Alexis Jr. Maybe we'll see him next week. As for Jessie's run, she looked solid until she got tripped up on the third diamond on Diamond Dash and hurt her toes during a hard landing. She fought through the pain, and when she got past Dragonback, the place exploded. Jessie LeBrecq hit a buzzer with a time of 7:31.02 and currently sits on 4th place of the leaderboard. I'm really hoping she can stay in the final 8, but it's going to be a nail-biter. Jessie LeBrecq is the first woman in American Ninja Warrior history to hit 6 buzzers. The leaderboard as of now, at the end of episode 7, is Lucas Reale, Najee Richardson, Austin Gray, Jessie LeBrecq, Jamie Ron, Cameron Baumgartner, Flip Rodriguez, and Jody Avila. However, we still have another 11 ninjas to run, and these are big names who have been setting top times all season, so expect that leaderboard to change dramatically throughout the first half of episode 8. I will have a short prediction video up soon, with my thoughts on how the remaining ninjas will do, and what I think the leaderboards may look like by the first half. I think the showdowns are just the basic power tower, but I can see some modifications being made to what we have seen in the qualifiers. But there's only one way to find out. Check out the finale of Season 12 of American Ninja Warrior this Wednesday, November 4th on NBC. Check local listings for times. Let us know what you thought of Part 1 and what you expect or hope to see as we near the end. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this plays out, and I really hope you all are too. So until the next prediction video, get ready to place your bets and enjoy the show.